So this is on Vivian Kate, my virtual child. So during my pregnancy, I exercised moderately and took prenatal vitamins. Vivian Kate was born naturally after 10 hours of labor. At the age of 2, Vivian Kate had good communicative skills and was playing well with other children, and she was starting to form sentences. This was me at the age of 1. By the end of age 2, I found out I was pregnant, and by the time Vivian Kate was 3, I had my second child, Landon. Vivian Kate was very fascinated with music and sounds. She constantly wanted to watch and dance on to stuff playing on the TV. At the age of 2, she started learning a second language. And this is me at the age of 3. At the age of 4, Vivian Kate could understand conversation and pick up very easily when you talk to her. So if you asked her a question, she could form a sentence and just simply carry on a conversation with you like an adult would. Vivian Kate and Landon would constantly argue, but eventually she started picking up and helping out with him as much as she could. And then she started showing an interest in reading and learning the alphabet. So we got her books that, went over the alphabet. We've got let her watch shows about the alphabet. This is me at the age of 4. I didn't have a picture of me at the age of 5. At the age of 5, Vivian Kate started kindergarten and made friends very easily. She was a very outgoing child. She did become more curious. She asked one day about what a homeless person was, and me and my husband sat down and just kind of explained to her what being homeless meant. She struggled in math and science and didn't want to engage into it when others wanted to teach her to it. She didn't really want to engage and just kind of branched out and did, dazed off and didn't really want to pay attention. So we got her a tutor and started letting her play math games, and we sent her to science camp. At the age of 6 years old, Vivian Kate started piano lessons and continued to do that. She has frequent play dates with her friends and was still a very outgoing child. She started using difficult words in her sentences, so when she formed a sentence, she would use very difficult words for someone her age. And by the age of 6, she was reading at a 3rd grade level. And this was me at the age of 6. Age 8, Vivian Kate started becoming bullied by kids down the street in the neighborhood we were living in, and we told her that to not listen to them, to brush it off, and taught her how to stick up for herself. She still gets along with other children well and still plays along with other children well and doesn't have a problem getting along. She's been taking piano lessons for 2 years now, and she is now starting to sing in the choir. She wanted to pick up an instrument at her school, so she now plays the violin. She's still struggling in math, so we still kept her a tutor, started sending her to math camps, and we still had her do a lot of math homework at home, with us, so we could teach her. We even had her do math games online to kind of help her work on her math skills. She started receiving allowance so she could start buying her own toys or things that she was pleased in. And so we started giving her an allowance. At the age of 8, we had a psychological test done, and it showed no unusual problems, so all her behavioral, emotional issues were perfectly normal. At the age of 10 of Vivian Kate, I lost my job, so the kids had to switch schools, and that was a very difficult time for both of them, so they had to make new friends. And at first, Vivian Kate did not make friends very easily, but as she got settled into the school, she started making more friends. During this time, me and my husband also got a divorce, and Vivian Kate started to feel unsure of herself, and she became more dependent on me versus my partner, and was just more clingy to me and started to lose hope in herself because she thought that she was the issue of all of us divorcing. She was still struggling in math and science, so we provided her with a tutor still and still continued to play games with her. This was me at the age of 8, and this was me at the age of 10. At age 11, Vivian Kate was nervous about what others will think of her because she had had a guy at school tell her that, give her a few compliments. So she started to care more about her appearance. And when we started to shop for school clothes, she started to fall into the more trendier clothes because everyone else around her was starting to wear more trendier clothes. So she started to want to fall into that trend due to compliments that she had gotten from school. At age 12, Vivian Kate was playing the violin for her school and sings in the choir still. She started to notice changes in her body due to her going through puberty, and we just, listened to her wishes we granted when it came to her noticing changes in her body. We didn't try to argue with her. As a mother, and as a girl, I understood where she was coming from, so I didn't, I listened to her and followed her wishes. She did argue with me and my ex-husband more often and wasn't as cheerful due to us separating, and she just started not becoming herself and just picking arguments, but we thought that maybe this was because she was going through puberty. Her reading, spelling, and writing were above grade level. She was still struggling in math and science, so she had heard about a STEM program and asked if that would be good for her, beneficial-wise, since she was struggling in math and science. So we enrolled her into STEM. Then her friends at school were starting to, some didn't believe in religion and some did in a different religion than we believed in. So she started to look into more different religious beliefs because of her friends. And she would go to the library, read books, and just look more into it. By the age of 13, she started to notice how other parents were parenting their children. So she would be like, well, you're stricter than most parents are towards their child. And she just started to notice more about other parents. And this was me at the age of 13. By the age of 14, she had grown a closer bond with me and not with my partner. She was more still dependent on me, but just grew a closer bond with me and told me more. Like, she just was very open and blunt with me. One of her friends came out as being transgender, and she asked me what that meant. So we sat down and we talked about what being a transgender meant and the changes and they would be going through. And she asked, about going to a support group. And as a parent, I was not for it. So I told her no, just because I didn't want her to be confused and, have to go through that. So I said no, which caused an argument between her and I. But at the same time, I thought as a parent, it would be best for her to be friends with the person, but not go more into depth than what she needed to be going to. She lost some of her close friends and due to arguments and just didn't have a few friends at the time. So she was just very lonely and kind of in a depressive state. She became bullied online by an anonymous person. So we removed her from all forms of social media until we could figure out the person. We informed the school in case of any problems. And at the age of 14, she goes on her first date with a boy from school. By the age of 15, she did well in her band class. She was still playing the violin, still singing. She was still struggling in her math and science classes, so we still offered her a tutor. Her teachers stayed after with her and helped her with her schooling when it came to math and science, and she received A in her Spanish, English, honors, world geography class, and the teacher says she was a pleasure to have in her class. This was me at the age of 13. This is me at the age of 14. And this is me at the age of 15. By the age of 16, Vivian Kate had a part-time job, but started to notice that it was affecting her classes, so she kind of backed up a little bit and didn't work as often due to the fact that she wanted to make sure that she was doing well in school. My ex-husband and I both got new partners, and Vivian Kate did not get along with both, but we both thought that maybe it was just her, just kind of not lashing out, but just basically saying, I don't agree with this, but we granted her wishes. We listened to what she had to say. She got her driver's license, and we got her a used car because we didn't think that getting her a brand new car would be, good, just because she is a new driver, so we got her a used car. She was offered the lead violinist role in her high school, and she knew that it would take extra time away from at nighttime, so she would have to practice an extra hour, so we allowed her to do that because that's what she wanted to do. She was caught smoking an e-cigarette in the bathroom and thought it's better than cigarettes, but we told her it still has the same effects as a cigarette, and she was punished for it, But at the same time, we also told her, I mean, we understood that she is growing up and she is going to branch out and try different things, but I'm glad that she was honest with us about trying that. She has been dating someone for 2 months, so we taught her about safe sex, birth control, and that if she felt like she was going, and that we felt like she needed to wait until they were both mature enough. But if something were to happen, she should come to us and open up to us about it so we could help her from preventing pregnancy or anything. She ran away and got matching tattoos with her boyfriend. At first, we were very mad, but she became more independent and we had to let her learn from her mistakes. So, of course, we were mad in the beginning, but after a while, we kind of got over it and let her learn from her mistakes. By the age of 17, she scored very high on her SAT and ACT, which she was really excited about because it was time to get into colleges, and with her grades in high school and her SAT and ACT score, she knew she had a very good chance. She was invited to a lot of parties, but she wasn't considered one of the most popular groups, but we still allowed her to go to parties just because we did trust her and thought she should go because everybody goes, and we just thought that it would be best if she went, had a good time, as long as we could trust her. She showed an interest in psychology. She said that was something that she wanted to maybe do in life, but never really said. After she took her SAT and ACT score, she started to apply into colleges. And she got into several in-state colleges due to her strength of her grades, as well as her SAT verbal score. Sorry. At the age of 18, Vivian, Kate, and Landon became closer as they got older, which was very good to see just because that relationship will help them grow into adults. She offered to help get a job to pay for college expenses due to our financial issues. She said that she would get a part-time job, and she started in the summer and put money to the side to help us pay for college. As she grew up, she didn't really become close with me nor my husband and became more independent, which is okay because, that is how you grow. But at the same time, it was because we were very strict on her, but we wanted her to have the best life and, make your mistakes, but learn from them. But we were close, but we were hoping that over time that would become better. This is me at the age of 16. This is me at the age of 17. And this is